The thug is in.
What is up, guys? This is Logan, also known as LRXC on Pokemon Showdown, and I'm here today to show you the coolest metagame, maybe of all time, besides ADV1v1. This is Tag Team Singles. Tag Team Singles is a bring four metagame where you pick two Pokemon for a singles battle. Its most similar counterpart is Battle Stadium Singles, where you bring six Pokemon and you pick three for a 3v3 battle, except obviously this is much different because there's less Pokemon to choose from, and so there's a lot more immediacy of play. There's also no Dynamax, which is a huge change, and there are no restricted legendaries. I believe that tag team singles combines a lot of the best parts of 1v1 and 6v6. 1v1 where you have these short form metagames and the immediacy of play where there's a lot more like gimmicky and like interesting tactics and different ways to use Pokemon. However, just like 6v6, you have to have a game plan, including VGC, because you have to think about all the different combinations that your opponent can bring, like the different sets of two Pokemon your opponent can bring. But there's also things now such as switching out. Hello. There's also Baton Pass, there's hazards, there's phasing, and all these different things come together to create a really awesome metagame. I believe it's what a lot of OUers or 6v6s are looking for when they want something a lot more exciting, but they don't like in 1v1 that it feels too 50-50 heavy. And as you can see here on these strategies, there's so many different strategies, such as a more defensive build with Skarmory trying to set up spikes, and then a bulky Snorlax with Whirlwind trying to move the opponent around and build up damage with spikes. And then on the other side, you have Sebastian utilizing Ninetales Alola with Aurora Veil so that it can help up some setup sweepers such as Belly Drum Slurpuff or a Shell Smash Blastoise. Pokemon that wouldn't really get to see the light in 1v1 because of the fact that there's no Aurora Veil helping them set up. And you can just get these awesome and amazing games. And I've really never had as many team building ideas as quickly as I have. And I just think this is just a really awesome metagame. Holy crap, let me zoom in. Whoops. Alright, so what makes this metagame so great? Here's the first part. Baton Pass is legal. And I don't know if Baton Pass is bannable yet or not. I don't think we really know yet. But you can find out by joining the Discord, by the way. If you've gotten this far, you need to join the Tag Team Singles Discord so that you can play with other Tag Team Singles enthusiasts. Anyway, we can call it TTS for now. Blaziken is probably the best baton passer because of its access to Speed Boost and Swords Dance, which Scolipede does also have, but Blaziken obviously has really great offensive typing with Fire and Fighting, Protect, all this stuff. You can run Wisp, everything. Scolipede does the same thing, except now you can also run Iron Defense to potentially pass to some Calm Mind abusers and start to sweep that way. These are things that you would never really see work in a 6v6 setting because there's 5 other Pokemon to handle it, or in a 1v1 setting because it takes too long to set up. But in this beautiful mid-ground of tag team singles, you can see these things put in work. Mew is a great baton passer because you can pass Dragon Dance or Bulk Up. No other Pokemon can really do that, as well as it just being Mew and having insane preview versatility, like, what's it gonna do? All that kind of stuff. Jirachi is great with Stored Power, because Stored Power is a powerful tactic with Baton Pass just tag teams. Poltegeist is cool. It's the only Shell Smash Baton Passer, usually run with Focus Sash, so that's really interesting. Think about what Pokemon could really use a Shell Smash boost on switching. And then Rabombi, which is something that is underlooked at in my opinion. It's the only Quiver Dance Baton Passer that I think is viable. Berry typing helps with dragons. Shield Dust, you can't get faked out. All that stuff. Baton Pass is a really interesting strategy with a lot of different ways to go about it. Another great mark of an interesting TTS team I think is Weather. Weather teams in a short form are really interesting. You got Tyranitar with Sandstream, which helps break Focus Sash, which, by the way, every team can only have one Focus Sash user, which is a really interesting part of the metagame, is on preview trying to figure out what is the Focus Sash user on the opposing team, if any, and how can I play around it? And usually it's with maybe a weather tactic or a multi-hit move or just having a good game plan on how to kill a Pokemon twice. But Sandstream helps facilitate Sandrush Dracozolt, Sandrush Vish. You can even run a Powdon with it. There's lots of different options. Another great weather setter is Snow Warning Ninetales Alola, which doesn't even need another Slush Rush user. It just helps really set up a lot of interesting setup sweepers with Aurora Veil, but you can use Arctozolt, which I did on a team that I'll show you later. Pelipper, obviously, for Rain. Rain teams are interesting. While their weather itself doesn't break Sash, I think there's a lot of interesting modes that you can go with Rain. And Sun. Next, you got Trick Room. Mew is probably the best Trick Room setter because, as said before, its versatility is insane. And one really cool Trick Room abuser that you would never see viable in any other tier is Guzzlord. And check this out. So this is an idea from a user named Dom, Mew plus Guzzlord. So Mew sets up Trick Room at the start, eats this, has a really interesting Pain Split tactic to break Sash on Pult if it had one. Could use an attacking move, but Pain Split's really good versus everything. And now we see the power of Guzzlord with Knockoff and Beast Boost, Outrage, there goes Volcarona. So you could see really interesting Trick Room abusers that you wouldn't usually see in a 1v1 setting, because Trick Room is like really garbage because you're going to get hit too hard to utilize it. But also in a short form setting, you can see really cool Trick Room abusers such as Glastrier with Chilling Neigh, Marowak Alola, maybe even Drampa perhaps, and also Curselax. And Mimikyu plus Curselax is a really great Trick Room core. And yes, Mimikyu is legal in this tier. It's banned from 1v1 because its disguise was too powerful. But yes, in this tier, you can run really cool Trick Room support Mimikyus. I think Trick Room is a really interesting strategy with a lot of potential, because you don't even need to go a full Trick Room team. You can go a half Trick Room team, and you have all these different potentials on preview. Here's some other cool things that I think are worth our sharing. I think Genesect is a really great Pokemon, and it's also unbanned from its 1v1 form. You can obviously go Focus Sash, but it also gets a really powerful Explosion, because exploding is really interesting in this because it really kind of works on teams where you're trying to trade down with the opponent and then maybe just use a standard 1v1 set that gets the good 1v1 matchups that it would in 1v1. But of course, this is also going to go Sash, Scarf, Specs. Genesect can do a ton of different things. Zoroark is interesting because in Illusion and in this short form metagame, there's a lot of like immediate 50-50s that if you feel comfortable winning 50-50s, you can win right away. I think Zoroark is really cool. Regenerator, something that 1v1 players don't really know about, but you know, Battle Spot singles players and of course 6v6 players are going to know about. Regenerate is an interesting tactic on more defensive teams with like Chansey and Tangrowth and Skarmory. I think everybody's really focused on the offensive threats, but defensive Pokemon can do just as well. However, there are great offensive threats such as Unburden Hawlucha with Seed support from Rillaboom or Tapu Koko. This is a great strategy in tag team singles, and every team needs to have an Hawlucha answer. Gothitelle with Shadow Tag is interesting. Yes, Shadow Tag is allowed in this tier. What can you set up so that Gothitelle has a great 1v1 scenario, and how are you going to handle Dark types and things that can pivot out with U-turn? And then lastly, I think there's a really cool strategy that this username Drip Legend came up with, which is the use of Gravity. Gravity Lander Asterion is really cool in a short form because while Gravity only lasts 5 turns, does that 5 turns really matter when you only have such little turns usually-ish in a tag team singles game? Not really, and you can hit those Steel Flying types really hard. Here you can see it used to really cool effect though, where it earthquakes, it dies, but now it helps Hypnosis Blacephalon be super accurate, and Blacephalon along with Beast Boost can just sweep the opposing team. Really, really cool stuff from Drip Legend, and just you see all these really, really cool and fascinating ideas in general. However, with all these fascinating ideas, you need to worry about the best Pokemon in the tier, which I believe are some of these. Tapu Fini is, in my opinion, the best Pokemon in the tier. Misty Surge is crazy because it allows you to not get status, and it also weakens opposing Dragon-type moves that are grounded. You know, Scarf is still great, just like it is in 1v1, but also just Calm Mind Citrus in all metagames. Water Fairy is a busted defensive typing. Every team can use a Tapu Fini, but also needs a way to beat Tapu Fini. Dragapult, now that Focus Sash is in the tier, Dragapult has crazy options with just a Pokemon that's fast and powerful with good coverage and utility, but now it has a Sash so you can do what it wants it to do twice. Victini is good for Victini reasons. Yes, Victini is viable in this tier, and you can use Encore. Scarf V-Crate is a great revenge killer, and U-Turn, you can get free U-Turns and pivots. It just does Victini things. Focus Sash Special is a set I've seen a lot. Mew has been explained before. You can do so many cool things with Mew. Urshifu is also great in this tier and legal in this tier. It's not legal in OU, but yes, it is legal in this tier, and Wicked Blow does Wicked Blow things, especially when Urshifu can hold a Focus Sash. 97 is a really important speed tier in tag team singles. And even Pheromosa. Some people don't think I should have put Pheromosa, but I think Pheromosa might be in my top 6. Focus Sash Pheromosa is crazy, and with Beast Boost, when you raise your speed stat after a kill, you don't get revenged by many Scarfers at all, because not many Scarfers are going that fast. It gets U-turn, you can go special, lots of really interesting ideas with Pheromosa. So with all that, I want to show some teams that I came up with, just to give you a cool idea of some teams that I've made and that I'm excited about. So this is a Trick Room team. This is a full Trick Room team, with Mimikyu as the Trick Room setter, because you get a guaranteed Trick Room unless taunt because of Disguise. Helps facilitate a Curselax. Celesteela with Power Hit Meteor Beam as a really cool sweeper because hello, Beast Boost. What else? Then you got Volcanion, just, you know, with Focus Sash. That's my Sash abuser. Something that can hit a lot of things hard and great defensive utility with Water Absorb. This is a really cool Molt team with Moltres Galar with Weakness Policy and Berserk. just a generally bulky Pokemon that now can sweep opposing teams with like +3 Fiery Wrath and Hurricanes, even +5 if you get a Nasty Plot, Weakness Policy, and Berserk off. Just a cool idea, facilitated by Auroraville Ninetales Alola, which also helps Arctozolt sweep teams, and then Garchomp for fire types. And here we see Grudge, which I will show on a different team, is a cool idea. This is Grudge Pult. Shoutouts to Bofer for this idea. This is a cool core of Dragapult plus Kommo-o. My idea here was to use Grudge Pult, Bofer's idea, to help. So what Grudge does, in case you don't know, wouldn't be surprised if you didn't. When an opponent attacks you with a move, it loses all of its PP. So you can imagine, I have my Sylveon or my Clefable. I'm going to Moonblast the Dragapult. Well, now your Moonblast is gone, and Kommo-o is going to do work with its sweeping ability with Clanger's Soul and Throat Spray and Boomburst and Scales. Really cool double Dragon Core, and also just Curse just to mess up with stall. Facilitated by Amoonguss and Magnezone. Red Card is a really interesting strategy that I feel like you never ever see ever in a lot of metagames, but here, think about it. When there's only 2 Pokemon, if you could force your opponent to forcefully switch to it's a Pokemon that it probably didn't want out in the first place, that's totally going to mess up their game plan. And I think throwing Red Card on random mons, even such as Dracovish and Garchomp, these are just really cool ideas that can help mess up your opponent's plan. And then facilitated by a Magnezone to not lose to Ice types, and with Metal Sound to facilitate these two. Lastly, one other cool team that I'll show is Sleep is legal in this tier. Yes, it is. And one of my favorite sleep users is Hypnosis Gengar, because you get 2 chances to do it. You're fast, you can hex stuff down. Sludge Wave is great for Tapu Fini. Destiny Bond can cheese a lot of opponents so they can get into some favorable 1v1 scenarios. And you know who wins a lot of 1v1s? Urshifu, because it's freaking Urshifu. Great defensive core here. And then facilitated by 2 setup sweepers like Taunt, Bulk Up, Zeraora, and Clefable with Calm Mind, Moonblast, Unaware for just, the classic Unaware strategies. So as you can see here, I think Tag Team Singles is just a really, really cool metagame. There's so many different ways to play it. I've had so much fun streaming it on Twitch. There's been a lot of cool sets that I've seen in ideas. But to see these ideas and to actually play the tier, you got to join the Discord. So join the Discord, the Tag Team Singles Discord. The link is in the description and the comments. You have the challenge code, because this isn't an official metagame. You have to use the challenge code. I think this has a potential to be an official metagame, and if we get enough attention, enough hype around it, it definitely can be. It's such a cool metagame. Yeah, and this Wednesday, I plan to be streaming it at 4:00 p.m. GMT -4. We're just going to play a ton of Tag Team Singles. That's all we're going to do. And then on Sunday, I'm going to even host a live tournament on my channel on Twitch. So be there as well for that. But yes, Tag Team Singles is hype. Build some teams, see what happens, see what's up. And yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.